Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. I'm Kumar Saurabh and I'm a pre-sales engineer at 42 Gears UK office. Today I'm here to discuss why it is important for organizations to keep businesses' devices updated at all times and know how SureMDM, the 42 Gears UEM solution, can help IT admins help businesses achieve that. We will learn how SureMDM can help manage OS updates on devices based on various platforms. Before we begin, I would like to request you to drop any questions you may have during the presentation in the question box panel that's present on the right hand side of your screen, and we will answer them at the end of the session. So let's begin. Before we get started with our webinar, let me quickly give you a snapshot of all the things that we are going to discuss. We will start with discussing why updates are important and how updated systems can help businesses prevent mobile devices from falling prey to security vulnerabilities. Next, we will see how IT admins can effectively use SureMDM to remotely push and schedule updates on each platform, such as Android, iOS or iPad OS, macOS, and Windows devices. We will also discuss how SureMDM can help manage updates in some of the Android devices, specifically Zebra, Samsung, and Datalogic devices by using OEM specific platforms. So let's get started. If you are an IT admin or a business owner who has deployed mobile devices, then you must have heard of ransomware attacks. There have been numerous instances in the recent past where hackers were able to exploit operating system vulnerabilities, which led to attacks such as WannaCry outbreak. One of the main reasons for these attacks in the first place were outdated systems. According to an estimate by Kaspersky, the WannaCry attack in 2017 affected 230,000 computers worldwide, causing a financial damage of approximately 4 billion US dollars. Therefore, system updates are critical for improving device functionality and usability. Mobile platforms release patches and major OS updates regularly, which aims to fix vulnerabilities, improve system uptime, help companies adhere to compliance requirements, and of course, bring new features or functionalities. Most importantly, they help businesses prevent mobile devices from falling prey to security vulnerabilities. Let's take a look at how you can manage OS updates on a mixed bunch of devices. Patches are released all the times and are essential for creating a secure work environment, especially during the pandemic when most of the workforce are working remotely. Unfortunately, this can be immensely overwhelming for organizations that have deployed thousands of devices based on multiple platforms. So IT teams must approach it strategically, automating the process of scanning devices and distributing OS updates over the air can help IT admins to ensure that the devices are updated at all times. SureMDM by 42 Gears is a robust UEM solution that provides complete visibility and control over OS updates. With SureMDM, IT teams can easily manage updates on Android, iOS, macOS, Windows without requiring any interaction from employees or users side. Now let's quickly take a look at some of the benefits of managing updates with SureMDM. SureMDM helps to manage OS updates efficiently. It ensures that updates are not missing on any device. Specifically, it helps IT admins achieve improved visibility, enhanced security, compliance, reduced errors, better user experience, and support. Let me share a few benefits here. First, improved visibility. SureMDM OS Update Management feature provides increased visibility into endpoints that are missing updates. Second, enhanced security. It ensures that all the endpoints are updated with the latest apps and firmware, thereby reducing the security risk. Third, ensured compliance. SureMDM OS Update Management feature helps establish a process to deploy devices with the latest security patches. Fourth, prevents errors. These features helps to reduce the time for deploying updates and human errors. Fifth, improved user experience. You can deliver better user experience and device performance with the latest features and device functionalities. And last one, better support. Ensure better and continued support from device manufacturers and OS platforms. Moving on to the next topic, remotely updating the operating system. Updating the operating system is probably one of the last things in an employee's or user's task list. This is mainly because the process involves scanning systems, checking for the time updates, vulnerabilities, and critical updates. Often this process can take several minutes to hours, locking employees out of their workstations. That is why IT teams need a solution that can help them manage operating system updates remotely. SureMDM allows IT teams to manage OSS remotely and push firmware updates on devices as soon as they are available. With SureMDM, IT teams can view devices, that means view the status of all the devices with the when the updates were pushed, cancel updates, cancel the pushed updates, delete updates, that means deleting the recording list or any pending updates on the devices, sync updates, refresh the firmware update status. Now let's move on to the next part where we will be discussing scheduling updates. Pushing updates during working hours can hamper productivity and impact customer experience. That is why it is important to have a solution that allows IT teams to prioritize and schedule updates for remote devices, even across different time zones. Additionally, scheduling updates to a later time helps businesses avoid device downtime and improve bandwidth consumption. SureMDM helps you to achieve that. Now that we are familiar with the advantages of implementing an OS management solution, let's move on to configuring the over-the-air OS update on devices based on various platforms. First off, let's discuss how to configure updates on Android devices. SureMDM allows organizations to manage various types of Android devices. SureMDM has integrated with multiple device manufacturers and supports operating system updates on various types of Android devices. Some of the major Android OEMs with whom SureMDM has partnered include Zebra, Samsung KNOX, and Datalogic. Let's check how SureMDM helps IT admins install updates remotely on Zebra devices. Zebra's rugged devices are key tools that enable frontline workers across various businesses. 42 Gear SureMDM has integrated with Zebra and supports Zebra's Lifeguard over the air or OTA manager for Android devices. The Zebra Lifeguard OTA manager, previously known as FOTA manager by Zebra, helps IT admins improve the process of OS management on Zebra's enterprise class devices. However, using an MDM to implement these updates grants admins more control over which software updates to push to the devices over the air. With SureMDM, IT teams can manage firmware updates for Zebra's enterprise class Android devices, control and prioritize firmware updates over the air, remotely update apps to ensure consistency between the devices. To use your MDM's Zebra Lifeguard OTA functionality, Zebra devices must be registered for Zebra's Lifeguard and enrolled under Android Enterprise with the device owner mode enabled. In order to manage Zebra's devices with SureMDM, admin must authorize and generate device tokens, install two Zebra apps on the Zebra Lifeguard, and configure those devices with those applications. These apps are Zebra's Enrollment Manager and Zebra Common Transport Layer. When Zebra devices are enrolled in SureMDM using Android Enterprise as device owner, they get tagged and start reflecting under tags named after their device model. From there on, admins can view devices and start managing firmware updates from SureMDM's central console. Let me show you each of these steps in detail. On SureMDM console, whenever you are managing Zebra's devices and you do have Lifeguard OTA update support, you can go to your account settings and then go to your firmware update where Zebra Lifeguard OTA can be selected and then integrated onto SureMDM console so that you can sync the devices right from your Zebra Lifeguard OTA portal. Once it is done, whenever you are enrolling your Zebra devices onto SureMDM console, you will have tags that will be generated for your devices onto SureMDM level, and then you can manage those devices right from SureMDM console for your Zebra's devices. For example, if I have configured or enrolled my Zebra device, whenever I am going into my tag section, automatically your devices will start appear as a part of tagging, and your devices will have all those model numbers displayed over here for which you want to showcase the devices, and then if you want to upgrade the firmware onto the device, that is possible using SureMDM console. So for the Zebra device, the firmware update will start to show so that you can choose the update you want to install from the list and then start pushing onto the devices. These firmware update will include all the full operating system updates. That means your OS version, your update type, whether it is a patch release or a delta release or a full update onto the devices, your firmware version details, and even the release notes from Zebra portal. You may select these update and then start pushing onto your devices. You can also have a firmware update history check whenever you want for any specific device. You can click on firmware update history and then start checking onto which updates were pushed onto the devices. To enable your complete firmware update onto the devices, your Zebra device should have two applications that you can upload. You can send it onto your device using Play Store. That is your Zebra Enrollment Manager and your Zebra's Common Transport Layer application that can be selected from the Play Store, and then using the profile can be pushed onto the devices. Now let's move on to installing updates on Samsung KNOX devices with SureMDM. SureMDM has partnered with Samsung and supports the Samsung KNOX ecosystem. The Samsung Enterprise Firmware Over the Air platform, or E-FOTA platform, helps enterprises manage software updates roll out to Samsung Enterprise devices. SureMDM supports Samsung KNOX E-FOTA that allows IT teams to selectively apply operating system updates to ensure compatibility with in-house apps. With SureMDM, IT teams can update devices smoothly over the air, manage and restrict firmware updates onto Samsung devices, and push updates only on those devices that requires the latest security patches. However, admins must note that this feature is supported on Samsung devices running on Android 7.0 or Nougat and higher, and the Samsung KNOX version should be 2.7.1 and higher. Once Samsung E-FOTA firmware is registered with SureMDM, newly enrolled Samsung devices will log down to their current firmware. Admins can push the update only to the devices that requires the latest security patches. Now let me show you the steps to register Samsung E-FOTA firmware updates with SureMDM. On SureMDM console, when you go to account settings, you will have an option of firmware update from where your Samsung E-FOTA can be selected. That means you can register your available devices which is present on Samsung E-FOTA using the license, customer ID, client ID, and client secret ID details that you can fill up on the firmware update section of SureMDM console. You can save it and then register your available devices onto SureMDM console, after which it will be ready for firmware update or patch release update from SureMDM console. Datalogic devices are used by businesses worldwide for various business purposes, such as capturing data, reading barcodes, and more. SureMDM is a Datalogic partner. Datalogic users can leverage SureMDM to provision, secure, and manage Datalogic rugged handhelds and IoT devices. Most importantly, Datalogic customers can use SureMDM's jobs features to remotely deploy Datalogic Android device firmware upgrades. With SureMDM, IT teams can push Datalogic app update as soon as they are available, push compatible firmware updates on selected devices without the end user intervention. To start updating firmware, IT admins must download Datalogic firmware from Datalogic developers website. Next, IT admins can create the following jobs inside SureMDM console and then apply them in the following order. A file transfer job to push from firmware to device storage, run scripts to start broadcast receiver on the device, and a run script job to upgrade the Datalogic firmware. Let me show you the steps to perform Datalogic firmware upgrades using SureMDM. For Datalogic firmware update, you can easily navigate to jobs, then create a new job, after which you can select the operating system as Android. Three things that you need to create for Datalogic firmware update is first a file transfer job in which you will have to add the file that has been downloaded from Datalogic's developer website, and the same file can be used for file transfer into the device storage. Once the file has been pushed onto the device, we will have to create a run script to start the broadcast receiver onto the device side. And the run script can be copied and pasted on the run script section so that you can start the broadcast receiver onto the device side. You may give the name of this particular job and save it. The third thing again will be run script job to upgrade the data logic firmware. The script again can be copied and pasted on the run script section, after which you can give the job name and save it. Now to automate this process, we need to create a composite job section where you need to add these jobs one by one in the order: a file transfer, then a run script to start the broadcast receiver, and the run script to upgrade the data logic firmware. You may add time delays in form of seconds to these jobs, and then a composite job can be created which can be readily pushed onto n number of devices in one go from SureMDM console. Installing iOS and iPadOS OTA updates. With SureMDM, IT teams can easily push updates to iOS and iPadOS devices automatically to ensure all devices are consistent and running the latest operating system and security patches. However, admins must note that the scheduled operating system update job is only supported on supervised iOS devices. To view iOS updates available for enrolled iOS and iPad OS devices on SureMDM console, admins must select the device and then click on OS update under the dynamic job section. If any updates are available, then the product key for that operating system version will be displayed. This product key can be entered into schedule operating system update policy prompt. If no updates are pending, no updates available message will be displayed. Let me show you how to create a job to update an operating system and push it to enrolled devices or device group remotely. On your MDM console, whenever you have the iOS device enrolled, you will have an option of OS update on your dynamic job section, on which whenever you click, the product key for any upgrade to operating system update will be whitelisted or shown onto your MDM console, which can be copied, and then you can navigate back to the job section. You can select iOS or iPad OS over here and then schedule operating system update. That means you have to paste the copied product key over here, give the job name, and select the install action. For example, download and install the firmware update or operating system update using this particular product key version. Or if there is already downloaded software update, you can select the option, click on OK, and then apply this particular job to your devices or group of devices in one go. That means you can select a particular device and apply the job, or you can select the entire group and then apply the job and push it remotely to n number of devices in one go. Moving on, let's discuss pushing operating system updates on Mac OS devices. SureMDM Mac OS profile offers IT admins an option to manage and schedule operating updates over the air on Mac devices. Admins can use this option to remotely push the latest version of operating system on the enrolled Mac devices using a single console. With SureMDM, IT teams can easily distribute apps and content to Mac OS via SureMDM Central Console. Remotely update the latest version of operating system updates on the enrolled devices. However, admins must note that schedule operating system update job is only supported on the DEP enrolled devices. Let me show you a quick demo. On your enrolled Mac operating system devices, you can push the operating system update by directly creating a profile. All your DEP enrolled macOS devices will be only supported with this particular feature, in which you can add and then click on software update, configure the software update. For example, if you want to automatically check for updates and then download new updates whenever it is available, or allow the installation of app updates from App Store, or automatically install Mac OS updates. You may select these options, give the profile name, and then apply it on your Mac, that is DEP enrolled Mac devices. Once you do that, the software update onto the devices will be done according to the format that you have chosen over here. SureMDM can help IT admins automate operating system update management. The console offers an OS update job that allows the admins to remotely update the latest version of OS on the enrolled Windows devices. With SureMDM, IT teams can check the update status, troubleshoot issues with new Windows 10 updates, and remotely update the latest version of OS on the enrolled devices. Admins must note that the Windows 10 devices should have enrolled with EMM Windows for the OS update option to appear. Let me quickly show you a demo on how to upgrade OS on Windows 10 devices. On your enroll, if your Windows devices are dual enrolled onto SureMDM console, you do have possibility of using OS updates over here, in which if you have any OS update for your devices, the published state details and classification of OS updates will appear over here, which you can select and then apply it onto the device section. Moreover, on the profile section, if I will navigate to Windows section over here and then select your Windows updates and configure it, you do have lot of options for Windows updates over here. For example, how do you want to update your Windows devices? In case of auto update behavior, if you want to select options such as notify the user before downloading the update, or auto install the update and then notify the user, or in case if your operating system update requires a restart, you can automatically install the OS update and then restart your machine. Or maybe if you want to select it the restart at a specific time, you can choose this particular option. Even if you want to install and restart without end user control, you can select this option as well. In case if you want to turn off the automatic updates on your Windows devices, so that for example, if your application doesn't work on the latest Windows devices but works on the current particular installed operating system update on your Windows machine, you can turn off automatic updates right from the profile section and then push it onto your devices. So you may choose the Windows update policy according to what you need. We have all these options present in profiles, which is only available for your EMM enrolled Windows devices. And then you can push the policy or profile right onto the devices, making the OS update available, or restrict the OS update onto the devices as per you need. Thank you for attending our webinar. It's now time to answer the questions that were submitted during the session. Okay, so I have my first question here. How can I use SureMDM to push general Android update on my devices? So in that case, if your devices are enrolled as device owner and you do have Android Enterprise enabled on your devices, you do have options of profiles where you can navigate to Android section, click on add, and then you can simply have a system settings that will allow you to choose system update policy, something like if you want to automatically update your OS onto the device, or if you want to window the update onto a particular time, or you can postpone the update for a month onto the devices. You may select these options and then push it across the devices. What is dual enrollment for Windows devices? This is my second question. So Windows devices, when enrolled both using NIX agent and an access to work or school or PPKG file, is called dual enroll devices and supports Windows updates onto SureMDM console. So only those Windows devices which are dual enroll onto SureMDM console, uh, they will only have an option of uh, operating system update onto SureMDM console. So this is single enrolled Windows devices. In case if you, whenever you are enrolling your Windows device as dual enroll, you will have option to do that using the PPKG file or access to work or school, and then your devices will start to show as dual enroll. That means a round circle will be formulated over here, and then you can check that your devices are dual enroll. That means it will support both jobs and profile section. So we have our third question. Can we see the current version of operating system running on devices using SureMDM? Answer is yes. SureMDM gives you ability to see the current operating system of the device as a part of column. So whenever you are adding the column over here, you can search for OS and then start selecting these operating system version over here, and then you will have an ability to show see this operating system version onto your SureMDM console against your devices. You may also export it or generate a report with your asset tracking so that you do have visibility of, if I'll view this asset tracking report, I will have a visibility of operating system version and operating system type and etc. on my devices. All the details of operating system version will be shown over here. So we have realized that there were few questions that we did not have time to answer. We'll reply to your questions via email as soon as possible. Uh, with that, we come to the end of this webinar. We hope you liked our session today and we could answer your queries related to operating system update management. If you would like to rewatch this webinar, we will upload it to YouTube in a day or two. If you have any more questions, please feel free to send us an email at webinars@42gears.com or visit our website at www.42gears.com. Thank you and stay safe.